built a healthy relationship from major and minor issues,
the good, the bad, the ugly,
to triumphs of the family unit.
In this day and age, you need somebody by your side.
Utilize proven techniques and strategies to help your relationship and family thrive to the next level.
You have to compromise.
This is the Family Dynamics Podcast with Kevin and Alicia Meeks.
Welcome to the Family Dynamics Podcast. We again are in a home studio, and I am sitting next to my beautiful wife, Alicia Meeks.
Hey.
Today is one of them days where you kind of like melancholy, and my wife and I, we talk about so much that we don't even know what to give you guys, because it's so many topics that we talk about. It's so many things that we want to share. We actually have to sift through and see, like, what do our audience need now?
Yes, indeed.
We watch like a lot of shows, like we watch a lot of people, and we watch a lot of people's relationships and see how they interact. We watch a lot of people's parenting to see how they interact, and we don't watch them in a light where we watch them like, oh, look what they doing, or to judge them, or to even covenant their situations or their marriage. Is really like for entertainment purposes.
No, and for observation.
Sure. And also, like I like documentaries. I like to see what was cause and effect for certain people's lives, like how they became famous or how did they start, like the American Greed stories. Like I like to see,
I do like
like to get into people's mind. Like I like that type of stuff. So it doesn't stop there with watching TV. We actually watch other people too.
Yeah, when he says watch other people, it's just like, okay, for instance, we have one 19-year-old girl. And so Kevin hasn't parented a 19-year-old girl before. I haven't parented a 19-year-old girl before. So I do look towards like-minded people, because it can be someone who's parenting a 19-year-old that wouldn't do it the way that I would even remotely want to do it. So when there's like-minded people, then there's an observance there, like, and oftentimes I will send out a poll text message in a minute to my little group of mommy friends. And, so is anybody else dealing with the sassiness? Is anybody else dealing with this or that, now since they are young adults? So, and sometimes not only that, not just asking a person, but actually just observing, like, wonder how that's going to play out. And then observe, and you'll see. So that's what he means when he says that.
Yeah, because we're at a stage where things are taking a turn, or things are taking a change. And I got to be honest, for parents, like, some change you like, some change you don't. And I guess for me and for both of us, like, you have to adjust with some of the changes.
Yes.
You allow your children like space to grow, but then also you got that leash, because you want to make sure that they're making sound decisions. Because one thing that you don't want to do, or your children have come to you say later, like, well, why didn't you tell me? I did this and I wish I didn't that. Well, I did tell you.
Yeah.
And I'm hands-on, even at the highest point of your teenage years, or even at the lowest point of your adulthood. Like, I'm in the lowest point, meaning you're an adolescent in adulthood. Like, even though you're 20 or you're 21, like, you still need a lot of guidance. And I'm still hands-on to make sure that, or at least guide you in the right direction. So we watch a lot of other people and see how they do it. Not like we're going to just do it exactly the way they do it.
No,
like,
absolutely not.
Let's mental note that.
Just to see what we think works, doesn't work, or Mike could use a little bit of this and throw away a little bit of that.
Right.
So yeah, that's just that. But we have like he said, we talk about just any and every topic. Like, I don't know, we just talk about whatever comes up. So today, I was listening to Black Love, and there was this older couple, and the older couple were saying that a way that they have gotten through their marriage is that they do not hold grudges. And so I was thinking back to when Kevin and I first started dating. If we got into a little tiff or an argument, Kevin might have been expecting me like to still be mad. And I come like, so what we watching on TV tonight? Like, I just would move on because I didn't want to be like arguing with him all the time. So I was really laughing when I heard those old people say that, like that they don't like to hold grudges with each other. And she gave the example of, just, so baby, what you want for dinner tonight or whatever. And so I just think that's very important to, when you're having different type of situations with your spouse or anybody really, but mainly your spouse is what I'm talking about right now, because we're talking about families. Because in the family dynamic, when Kevin and I are at odds, baby, the house just don't even function right. Just to be honest, do it.
No, it don't. It don't.
The dinner might be nasty because I cook with love. And so if I'm not feeling much love, stuff just don't even be right. Or I just don't even cook. And then everybody is on their own. And they don't like to be on their own because they're not used to being on their own. But they'll eat. Kevin will make sure that everybody's going to eat. But I'm just saying the house doesn't function like it just doesn't. And so I think it's good to not hold grudges because it's just better.
You know, I think it's true. I think it's not healthy to hold grudges. Because two things. I've heard this from two different people. One of them I heard today, actually. But I'm gonna say this first. Like, I don't think it's healthy to hold grudges because I heard Eric Thomas say one time, like, you only got so much time with your spouse.
Mhm.
And that's the worst part of it. Like, you only got so much time with your spouse, and to waste time to hold grudges is counterproductive, it's unhealthy, and it just doesn't make any sense. Now, there are situations where you guys do need to go to your opposite quarters and think a bit about your responses, or think about how you're going to deal with a situation where it might not take an instant resolution, meaning like we may need to take this night to really think about what's happening, or I need to, cool down to get my responses, or she need to cool down to get her responses together, because you never know that some situations aren't as minute as what we're going to eat, or you didn't close the door, you didn't put the toilet seat down. Some issues are a lot bigger than that. But when it comes to what Eric Thomas said, it struck a chord. Like, man, you don't have that much time with your spouse to constantly be arguing with them. And time goes by. What I heard today was his name is Marcus. I was talking to him today, and he was like, I'm dating this new girl, and what I like most about her is that whatever issue that we're having, which is really new to me, is that her instinct, it says, what is the solution to this issue? And not like brushing the issue off, but like, this is the issue, so let's find a solution to it. Like, whether I'm wrong, you're wrong, I'm right, you're wrong, right, however, like, what's the solution here? Because it has to be a solution to whatever this problem is. It can't just be, oh, we're not going to let the sun fall on our wrath, but there's no resolute. Like, someone or one party still has an issue. Like, deal with that issue. And I told him that one of the things that me and you do is that we don't go to counseling with issues that we haven't addressed. So, and what he said was, that's really good, because we don't bring up other issues in the midst of someone else having an issue. My response to him was, I said, what if the issue is relevant? He said, even if the issue isn't relevant, it's not poking at the opposite spouse. Like, to say, well, you do this though. Like, it's just, you had your time to bring that up.
Yeah, I feel totally the same way.
You know what I'm saying?
I feel the same way. I don't like when nobody bring up something else when I'm making my point. You had ample time to bring your point up. And so now that I'm making my point, don't try to come jump in with your point that you never addressed. So I don't like that either. So I'm with him. Boom. Good
Well,
job.
well, I think it's a gray area with that portion.
Mhm.
Like I think because if it's relevant, it's relevant.
It can be relevant, but if it was so relevant, then you should have brought it up prior to. Don't wait until I'm addressing an issue to now say what you had an issue with.
What I mean is relevant if it's in the same family of it.
I don't care if it's the exact same thing. You had ample time to bring up your issue.
So you saying so tomorrow I can bring up this same issue that I have that you do.
Well, I'm saying that today, if I'm bringing up an issue that I have a problem with, and you might have had a problem with it, but you never mentioned it prior to me bringing up my issue, I don't want you to have a Me Too movement in the midst of, midst of my transparency.
Yeah, but then this is where it gets kind of funny. Like if you having an issue that I suppressed and I took the advice of the older couples that we have heard before, like let the rough side drag.
Well, if you're gonna let it drag on.
Okay. But like, I'm saying it's if it would be unfair, like I let that go with you.
So if you allegedly let it go, then it can't even come here because it's gone.
No, because I had an issue about said problem, and I said to myself, I'm gonna take the approach of and this is hypothetical. If I take I'm taking the approach of, you know what, I don't like that, but there's bigger issues, and then you want to take a minute or petty or aka petty,
but you dropped it. You dropped it, so it's gone.
Man, that's not
you
fair.
Can't, no,
that's not.
You
fair.
Dropped it.
I think that.
So if you really dropped it, there's no way you could be bringing it up now because you dropped it, right?
But I think a spouse, regardless of what the issue is, should be able to hear that issue. Because it's still
I can hear it. And so if you wanted to bring it up, but don't in the midst of me
I can
taking the time to talk about what I want to talk about, there you is joining in the Me Too movement.
What I'm saying is I get in the midst of, but if I mention that you put the toilet seat down, I hate that you leave the toilet seat up. Okay, cool. But you leave the hair in the
so that's what I'm saying. Like, no, we're talking about you in that moment.
Great. I'm acknowledging
that's a problem. It's like, that Martell Hope. Oh, it's saying, just like him.
I'm saying not what Martell Hope doesn't acknowledge that the person has a problem. I'm saying acknowledge that your spouse has an issue,
and then throw yours in that you didn't
why not
have the guts to say
no,
about.
No, it ain't guts. It's not guts. It's not guts.
Not guts, but whatever. Guts. Well, it wasn't of that much importance that you let it drag, and so then leave it where it's at. During this time that I'm bringing up my stuff, don't wait until I'm bringing up my stuff to want to bring in your issue, because if your issue was so deep, then you would have brought it up prior to me bringing up my issue.
But that's what I'm saying. Right. But that's what I'm saying. When you have spouses that suppress certain issues,
that's because on them for suppressing it.
Oh, okay. Well, then I think that notion is counterproductive, because then I know, it's just I think of certain things, like if you take a stance in an area, there's some way, like the Almighty has a funny way of bringing things around where then it's a super relevant situation where you're going to have to bite your tongue because you didn't say nothing about it. So when you take a stance and say, well, you didn't say nothing about it, and then he brings a situation that's super similar that you suppress, and you like, I can't say nothing because that's my stance. Then what you do? So I think that all parties should be open, whether I think that no, if you have an issue, and if it's unrelevant, no, you shouldn't say nothing about it. Like if you have an issue about the bathroom, I hate that you leave the toilet seat up, but I'm suppressing the hair in the bathroom.
Well, that's on you for suppressing it. What I'm
saying is, if like I have it's a relevant issue in the same quarters that we share. If I suppress that and it's irrelevant, it's not the you didn't pull the seat back in the car, or you like that's totally irrelevant.
No. You're talking about in the same bathroom. Okay, so there's a bathroom, and in that bathroom, both of us have an issue, but you decided to suppress your issue, and then because I bring my issue about, Now you're unsuppressing it. No, you suppressed it, and so leave it suppressed.
No,
That's not okay.
suppressed it for the sake of,
for whatever the reason
right.
is.
But I'm saying, okay, then, but then there's gonna be a time when
That's just
there's a
not right.
okay, but you saying that, and a person can say that, but then when the tables turn to where I address something that you suppress, then you just got to eat it.
Yeah, because if I didn't bring it up,
No,
why
I
I'ma
don't
bring
believe
it up
that.
now?
I don't believe it. I don't believe that.
Okay.
I don't believe that you'll eat a situation knowing is relevant.
I don't think it's okay. Like if you had an issue with the hair on the floor or whatever you talking about, then in the midst of you saying, "Hey, babe, this is just all this weave is on this floor." The hair when you brush your hair out, I'm not gonna say, "Well, what about you left the toothpaste?" Like, no, that's petty.
No, I'm not saying that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying if respectfully you acknowledging, like I do leave a lot of hair on the floor and I don't
Okay,
clean
and
it
I'm
up.
gonna
I'm
get it up.
acknowledging that, and I'm gonna take it. No, I'm saying that. I acknowledge that you did that, that I do that. For us to be better, have a cohesive relationship in this bathroom, then can you not do this too?
No, I'm not
Yes.
gonna bring my issue up in the midst of your
But
issue, because if I had an
then
issue, I should have
is it
brought it up
petty?
prior
But
to
is
that.
it petty to bring it up
To me.
to later?
To me.
So
No,
so
to bring
then,
it up in that moment.
oh, okay. Well, then I'll just wait till tomorrow.
Well, wait. I just don't think
It
in
just-
my moment
but-
what I feel like bringing up.
No, sure,
and
but I mean, I
actually
acknowledge it,
tomorrow
though.
irritates me.
Oh, that's
because
so. When is a good time?
No, tomorrow irritates me because if you had an issue, then you had an issue and you should have addressed it. And you're gonna wait until now I have an issue, and now you want to bring yours out, so you're gonna wait till tomorrow or say it on that day. No, you should have said it when you felt like it was an issue.
It's an ongoing problem, though.
But you
Things
still
could
should
be
have said it.
things could be an ongoing problem with you. So I'm not supposed to say it, and it's relevant.
You can say it, but say it on your own, not
I am
as a result of me addressing something about you.
Well, it is irrelevant because how is this a big problem for you? It's a big problem for me, but I suppressed it for the sake of we have 20,000. We got, like Jay-Z said, we got 99 problems. This bathroom ain't one, or whatever it is. Like, so since you choose petty stuff, okay, well then let me just let my heart out.
But that may not be petty to me.
Okay, but I'm saying it's not petty to it may not be petty to the spouse either. I just feel like you're right. In that moment that it may be petty to address something because you didn't, but it's still a gray area when it comes to a spouse, that at any time, because it's even biblical, if you don't hear your spouse, especially for the husband, then God don't hear you. So if you take the stance of I'm not going to hear you because of the timing of it, but your spouse still has a underlying issue with you, I think that you are stagnating the oneness and the closeness of your marriage because of a mental thing. It doesn't go anywhere. Like it doesn't go anywhere. That's a tool of that may be a tool of incompetence to say, because of the timing of it, I don't care about what you feel. It's still an issue, whether it's today, tomorrow, or next week, that the spouse that you're supposed to be one with has an issue.
Well,
so
I
acknowledge,
wish that one spouse,
but you can't do it.
Bring it about timing. Prior to me having an issue.
But do you know how many issues that the spouse has that doesn't bring up anything? This would be a good time that, since we're having a conversation about a relevant issue, that I care so much about you that I didn't even know that I'm doing the same thing to you that I don't have a problem with. Mm-hmm. So now we can fix this and we can get moved past the bathroom and we can go to something else. So now that's not on your heart to where it's festering in you. No, timing isn't right. It's not going to be no good time tomorrow, next week, or next year if you hold it to say, let me do 38 days from now to make it. No, my wife has a problem. If it's relevant, then let me clear that up, because I appreciate that she chose to strike off like this is less important because we have 20 other issues going on. We have children issues, we got financial issues, we got emotional issues, we got stuff. Let's knock this out. Let's get all of this bad fruit out of there so we can flourish, because if that's on your heart, then that's hindering you and being effective as a spouse to me. So I won't take the stance of saying, oh, well, no, you ain't say nothing about it. Well, it's so much that you haven't said that I want to get some of this stuff off of you because I love you enough to let's forget it. We're going to deal with it now. Because when you go on counseling, a lot of people, which that's not the way we work, bring up a whole bunch of issues that they have never said and that's festering in their marriage
And
at the
that's
counseling
terrible.
But I'm saying it's a lot of people that either they're in fear of their spouse, either they're in fear of this issue may lead to divorce or separation,
Mhm.
or two, they just prideful or whatever. And it could be a multitude of issues that they bring up in counseling, which I think is very counterproductive in your marriage to sit something so long and wait to a third party to bring it out. Because to be honest with you, from my end, if you waited that long for a third party to be in front of us, I'm still leaving the session upset because it's a lack of trust. It's a lack of transparency. It's a lack of autonomy that we have that I'm feeling every day. What are you holding away from me? Because you willing to hold this so far away from me. Like, so that's why I'm saying when it comes to minute stuff, like, come on, man, let's get that off my heart. I do that too, or I didn't notice that because you never said it, but I'm glad that because we both having the same problem in the same area, I'm gonna stop doing that because that will be irritating. You brought it up. I suppressed it, but you brought it up. I shouldn't do that either. Let's move forward from that. Thank you.
Okay.
I mean, that's just it. Like sun setting on your wrath, like let's get all of this out. And I was not a person, like I was a person where I'm okay with going a few days of being mad because of history and because of not being able to articulate myself in a way. Because when you grow up in certain areas or in certain environments, you have to be quiet about what you feel and expressing it, and it becomes anger and fester and rage. So being married now, it's like you can't be that way, and you got to find a way to communicate your feelings effectively. So in that, like, if there's a spouse, whether it's a man or whether it's the wife or the husband, if anytime there's an open mouth, especially when they're articulating something, it's a good time to listen. Like, because it's a thin line between a healthy marriage and divorce. Like, it's a super thin line.
It is.
Like, you be watching certain stuff like, man, how they get divorced? Like,
yeah,
they was just good.
You
You thought.
That's what that's what the outside was saying. You don't know what's happening in nobody four walls. You
don't know what's happening in everybody four walls. And that's the same thing when I see men, they go off into a deep end, not just men, women too, but a lot of times more men, they go from you in a loving relationship and something triggered you to say, I want to ruin my entire marriage for a moment.
Yeah.
This was something that
many men,
but what I'm saying, this is something that been festering inside of you so long that you had no respect. You had no courage to say to your wife that I'm desiring something else. I want something different. I want to try something else, or I'm interested in something different. Like, you had no courage. I am an advocate of letting my wife know where I am at all times. And she can decipher or she can make the adjustments, because what I do know is the person I am today cannot be the person I will be at 53. Between 36 and 53, I should be talking to my spouse about what my desires are, not just sexually, but wherever I am. This quiet, and my wife as well. I should be tuned into my wife to see she doesn't want this anymore. When we first got married 7 years, going on 8 years ago, it would be ignorant and a bunch of other words to give her the same thing she wanted 8 years ago today.
Yeah, it would.
That, like, on all levels, financially, sexually, mentally, spiritually, to give her the exact same thing. That's what bothers me about people who wait so long to get married. Like, this person is growing at a fast rate, and you're waiting to marry this person. They ain't nowhere near the person that you know from day 1 to year 5.
No, you grow together. You grow together.
Like, for real. And I'm not telling nobody to rush. I'm saying this person ain't gonna be the same person. So if you waiting for a thing, they changing, they evolving
constantly. Well, hopefully, because if nothing changes, nothing changes. So absolutely. I hope something is changing.
Absolutely. So that's just one of our tidbits, and that's what we want to give it. And y'all got a glimpse of what we be talking. This is how we be talking, like for real. Like y'all think that we just talking to y'all. We on camera, we on these mics, and we talking. This is exactly how we roll. We'll pause a whole segment or series or movie to have this talk about something, and that's it. That's the thing. That's why she brought up a Martell Hope, because we talk about that stuff. Like,
I'll pause in between there quickly because I just don't get it. But that's a whole nother story for a whole nother time.
Yeah. So, hey, I want you guys to put in the comments, like, what do you think about our topic? What do you think about what we talked about here when it comes to addressing issues with your spouse? When it comes to should you or shouldn't you? Or should you wait? Or should you even hold any issues? Or just what do you think? Put it down in the comments or share this with somebody if this was good or not. Because we want to either continue the conversation or move on.
Mm-hmm.
So we thank you guys. This is the Family Dynamics, and we'll see y'all in a minute.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to another episode of the Family Dynamics Podcast with Kevin and Alicia Meeks.
Thank you, guys.
Please like, subscribe, and comment. And don't forget to follow us on social media at the Family Dynamics.
We'll see y'all in a minute.
Bye.